Good evening, everybody. Twain here, and I got a quick little tutorial for everybody, and it's for the Thaumcraft 4 research. I noticed on the FTB forums that somebody was having problems and they couldn't figure out how to do it. So here's a quick little tutorial for everybody over there on the FTB forums. Alright, so the first thing that I'm going to do is aspects. So you already know everything in the world already has aspects assigned to them. So cobblestone, torches, dirt, smooth stone, etc., etc. Grass has it. Doesn't look like the biomes of plenty grass have it yet, but I'm sure as an ore we'll go ahead and add it soon. So yeah, the wood, um, the portal frame, the obsidian. I don't think the portal does. Nope, it does not. So yeah, you basically go around the world and you just research everything or look at everything through the foam meter. And that's basically how you get aspects, unlock more aspects, and so on and so forth. The second method of getting aspects is putting these crystal clusters around your research table. Now I'm pretty sure I'm a little overboard with the earth ones. I'm not sure if it's the more you have, the more effects it'll get, or whatever. So if you need more of the prime aspects, just go throw a couple of the crystal clusters around your research table, and that will go ahead and increase your prime aspect research points. The second method is with the deconstruction table. Now with the deconstruction table, you right click and you get this little GUI, and go ahead and take an object and you drop it in this top space right here, and you'll have this little timer decreasing. Now that's going to drop and you'll see a little paper spinning here, and it's just going to keep going and going and going until it finally gets finally deconstructs that item into a prime aspect. So yeah, it's probably going to go through most of the stacks of paper. Oh, there it goes. So I got a water aspect because it's the prime off of the cognito, or one of the primes for the cognito. So that's one way that you can gain additional prime aspects. Now I'm not sure if there's any way to get the combined aspects, such as cognito, for instance. I'm still getting into Thaumcraft pretty good on this new version. So that's the third way that you can get aspects. So you've got the thermometer, just running through the world doing stuff that way. The crystal clusters and your deconstruction table. Now you've got all of these other combined aspects, and you get those by combining them in your research table. And if you don't remember what they are, you can go ahead and look in your Thaumonomicon under the basic information for your aspects of magic. And this will basically list everything that you will need for combining to get the aspects that you need to complete your research. And it'll keep updating every time you find a new one. It'll add it in here. So yeah, keep an eye on your Thaumonomicon for additional aspects and where you can find them, what items they have on it, and so on and so forth. Before I get started with the little research mini game here, I'm just going to let you guys know that I do have the research expertise and the research mastery already researched, so that's why I can do some things that you might not be able to. The research expertise allows you to move runes up to 3 positions at a time instead of 2, and whenever you attempt to research a red herring aspect, up to 3 runes of it will be removed instead of 2. And for the research mastery, it's 4 runes instead of 3 for the red herring. Excuse me a second. You can move 4 runes, move a rune up to 4 positions at a time. And lastly, you are able to move activated runes only a single position, and it will risk deactivating all the runes linked to that aspect, which is extremely helpful. So, both of these, I believe you will need the Cognito and the census for it. I had a lot of trouble when I was first starting getting these two researched because I was still kind of figuring out how to do everything. So, I guess it's on to the mini game then. I'm sure most of you have noticed that when you're doing the research, um, you'll keep trying aspects only to get these little red X's or the green check marks, or in some cases, a little red fish. The red fish are, of course, the red herrings, and like it said, it'll remove runes from the table every time you use it, so it'll get rid of more runes that you won't have to deal with. Luckily for me, as I was doing this, it was just this, and it removed a rune here, so it almost basically completed. I haven't touched any runes on this new research. So, um, so all I really got to do is move this rune here, but I want to get a little more detail on what you're trying to do. I'll go ahead and deactivate that one, I believe. Nope, that opened up more. Just gonna deactivate both of these and that one. So you have your starting rune here, or your starting node here, and then you've got all the runes that are your linking runes, so to speak. So your goal is to connect all of these together, obviously. Um, it actually explains all of the research here in the Thaumcraft, but I think it'd probably be easier to actually hear it bluntly. When you're doing it, you cannot branch off. So let's say uh, this was actually over here, and these two were evenly spaced above it, and this one was off over here somewhere. You can't put one rune between both of them and have it branch in two different directions. It has to be one solid continuous line. So I'll go ahead and activate that for you. And as you can see, it's jumping from the starting to a rune, to a node, back to a rune, and it's making another connection to this node here. Now when you do it, you cannot have it any more than one space apart. So if you click on here, you can see that here it's one space. If you moved it here, it would be one space, but it'd probably end up connecting to this one and making a little loop here. Now you can move it up, and it'll still be connected to a continual chain here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and move these out of the way real quick first, since I'm not going to be using any of those. Now, being able to move this active rune is a benefit of the research mastery. Now, if you look at it, I've got a one space gap between this node and this node, but since I have the possibility of it deactivating the aspect, it went ahead and deactivated on that last move. If it hadn't, this research would have been complete. So I'm going to go ahead and reactivate, and as you can see, it's making one solid, not smooth, but one solid line connecting all of the nodes, all of the runes. It's not branching off anywhere. So that's really the hard part of it, is making sure that it's all one solid line and you're using all the runes that you need. Now I didn't have to use any of the metallum runes or the metal aspects because I was able to do it with the permutatio. Oh, sorry about that. Got a little frog in my throat. Another thing you want to watch out for, if this rune is too close to over here, instead of jumping to this node, it'll just end up looping back on itself. You want to make sure you don't do that. So one way that you can get around that is just kind of make it arc out a little bit more, kind of like how this is doing. So just kind of have it loop over and around other things so that it won't affect any of them. So yeah, that's basically how you do research in Thaumcraft 3. Once you get the hang of it, you'll blow through it pretty easily. Probably the hardest part would be getting the aspects. Um, so I didn't notice this before, but since I've got all the crystal clusters around here, all the primals are actually got the little twinkle on there. And you'll get that from the environment as well. Um, so I think that basically covers everything. I'm going to go ahead and take my copper transmutation. And just out of curiosity, let's try a magic aspect. So I got a focus pouch actually, and see if I can go ahead and finish this in front of you guys and just show you my my method of running through it. This one actually looks like it could be a pretty pain in the ass, actually. So it's obviously something magic, so that's what I've got the this one activated for, so I know which runes they are. Since it's a pouch, it'll probably be the void, so let's try, yeah, there we go. Let's see. Oh, got a red herring right there. That's perfect. I can go ahead and get rid of some of the junk runes that I won't need. Let's try that. So I'm not too worried about my aspects right now. I've got a bunch of other things I'm working on, so I can let these recharge. I'm going to go ahead and click through some of these and try and get some of the red herrings up. But it's also possible that you could also get a third aspect. This one might actually give me one because it's a pretty big range on some of this. So, come on, give me another red herring. Oh, there was another one, but I didn't have enough for it. Oh, I got another one here. So as you can see, it gets pretty easy once you get rid of some of these other... Once you get rid of some of the red herrings, you can actually get a pretty decent amount of... a pretty good amount of space to work with. So I probably won't be able to finish this one for you guys. It doesn't look like I'm going to get enough runes to actually make a full connection. Let's see. Magic and void. Yeah, you see how it's looping back right here? You want to not do that. Oops, already had that one active. So, yeah, it looks like this is as far as I'm going to be able to go until I can get another aspect to finish up this connection here. But yeah, that's basically about it. I mean, it's really not a hard little puzzle to do. It just takes time, I guess it can kind of take practice, and it's just something that you kind of have to be patient with. Something that you can mess with. And when you're moving the runes, when they're active, they don't take up an aspect to move it, or to when it deactivates. And I've run out of ink, so I can't finish this for you guys anyway. So yeah, once you get the mastery, you can move runes and it won't affect the aspect. It'll just straight deactivate it. I'm not sure if this is a bug or it's intended or it's something that's going to be happening later. Just a helpful thing to know. But hopefully this helps you guys out, and it's a pretty fun thing to do once you get the hang of it. Definitely takes some getting used to compared to some of the other stuff. But you guys have a good night, and talk later.